Okay, so several weeks ago, during one of my comment corners, my brother got upset because he posted this really long joke on one of my videos, and when it was time for me to do his comment, I said, no, it's too long, I'm not saying it all. So, to make him feel better, go ahead and tell your joke.
He didn't even read it. Not just to none of you, but he didn't read it in general. Well, here it goes. And, I like beans. Once upon a time, there lived a woman in Brampton who had a maddening passion for baked beans. She loved them, but unfortunately, they gave her an embarrassing and somewhat lively reaction. When it became apparent she and her boyfriend would marry, she thought to herself, "He is so sweet and gentle, but I don't think he can live with my problems." So she decided to make the supreme sacrifice and give up the beans. A year later, her car broke down on the way home from work. Since she lived in the country, she called her husband and told him, I'm going to be late. Take a nice little stroll home. Car broke down. On her way home, she passed a small diner, and the odor of baked beans was more than she could stand. Since she had miles to walk, she figured, I could walk off any and all ill effects by the time I reach home. So she stopped in the diner, and before she knew it, she had consumed 3 large orders of baked beans. All the way home, she putted. Upon arriving home, she felt reasonably sure she could control it. Her husband seemed excited to see her, exclaiming delightedly, "Darling, I have a surprise for dinner tonight." Then he blindfolded her, led her to a chair at the table. Just as he was about to remove the blindfold, the phone rang. He made her promise not to touch the blindfold till he came back, then went to answer the phone. The baked beans she had consumed were still affecting her. The pressure was becoming unbearable. So while her husband was out of the room, she seized the opportunity. She shifted the weight to one leg and let it go. It's not only loud, but it smelled like a fertilizer truck running over a skunk coming from a pulp mill. She took a napkin, fanned the air around her vigorously. I like that word, vigorously. Then she shifted to the other cheek, ripped 3 more, which reminded her of cabbage cooking. Keeping her ears tuned to the conversation in the other room, she went on like this for another 10 minutes. When the phone farewell signed the end of her freedom, she fanned the air a few more times with the napkin, placed it over her lap, and folded her hands upon it, smiling contentedly to herself. She was the picture of innocence. When her husband returned, apologizing for taking so long, he asked her, "Did you remove the blindfold? Were you peeking?" She assured him she had not. At this point, he removes the blindfold to reveal 12 dinner guests seated around the table to wish her a first happy anniversary.
Do you like fun and adventure? Then sit back and enjoy the Brothers Not Lovers as they discuss all things movies. What's overrated or underrated? What makes you go really? Or how dare you? Or even just simply how funny this movie can be. You have the insightful, intuitive Davey, who is awesome. And you have the film bestie, Josh. He's there. Hi, I'm Davey, and I'm awesome.
Hi, I'm the film bestie, and I'm awesome.
Hello, and this is Overrated, Underrated, where we discuss some movies and talk about whether or not we think they are overrated or underrated.
Or whether or not they're underrated or overrated.
Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. So kicking it off, I'm going to start with a movie that I feel is extremely overrated. A movie that I was very excited to see. Wanted to see it in theaters, didn't get the opportunity, and then when it came out on DVD, went right to a Redbox, checked it out, all excited, brought it home, we watched it together as a family, and apparently I was the only one who could understand that this was an overrated piece of garbage called The Greatest Showman.
It wasn't bad, per se.
Okay.
It sucked.
Yeah,
It really did.
it was way too hyped for how good it really was. I'll give him this. It was okay. But there was really nothing special about it. And then what I can't stand here is lately we have all these people getting angry about history and everything, telling things like it's not so that people look like heroes. Yet you're going to make a movie about P.T. Barnum and act like he was a great man?
He's the man who coined the phrase, there's one born every minute.
Exactly. He was not just a dreamer who was trying to reach for the stars. P.T. Barnum was horrible.
He was trying to pick your pockets.
And all these freaks that came to work for him, they weren't like, oh, he gave me an opportunity to create great money. They were property to him.
He did not look like the Wolverine.
Don't get me wrong, I like Hugh Jackman, and I love him when he does musicals and stuff like that. It's great. Love him in Les Miserables. But this movie was not fantastic, as they say it was. And it had Zac Efron, so how good could it really be?
Yeah, he almost ruined that Baywatch movie.
No, what ruined that Baywatch movie was when they went, hey, let's make a Baywatch movie. But there you have it. I guess we both agree that The Greatest Showman was over.
And now it's my turn. Underrated, Small Wonder. A TV series from the 80s. Everyone had a big problem with the little girl acting like a robot.
Why?
But she was a great actress.
I gotta agree with you on that one. It was an extremely underrated TV show. Should have been around longer. Should have been remembered as one of the classics. It was a great TV show.
You know what the problem is? All anyone remembers is when she acted robotic and monotone.
Yeah.
They never remember the scenes, the few scenes that would come here and there when she would break out acting like other people, showing emotion, and they would actually be funny.
Yeah. But they also did bash her a lot for being monotone and robotic. She was playing a robot.
Wait till you hear her sing, Here Comes the Judge. Then talk to me. Tiffany Brissett deserved a lot better.
Sad that she didn't have much of a career after that show.
She did appear in Parker Lewis Can't Lose, which is basically proof of a dead career. We are talking about the TV show that launched no careers. And it's all your fault, people of the 80s.
Gotta agree with you on Small Wonders. Definitely an underrated show. For the next underrated, a movie that I feel is extremely underrated. A movie that a lot of people have bashed. A movie that a lot of people say was the death of the DCEU, which I disagree with. I felt Batman vs. Superman was a very underrated movie. It was... What was so bad about it? Okay,
I'm not saying it was bad.
I will admit the way they did Doomsday could have been done better.
Oh, yeah.
Although, I will say this. Everybody going like, oh, they should have went with his original origin story. His original origin story makes no sense. Saying that he was just a creature that a scientist kept throwing out into situations that would kill him, then making more clones of him until he was just getting more and more strong. Even if you believe in evolution, that's not how it works. So they couldn't really do that. But I agree they could have done better than making him out of General Zod and making him look like a big Goomba. But still, Jesse Eisenberg, maybe not the best Lex Luthor, but he wasn't bad either. At least he put a fresh spin on it instead of trying to be like every other Lex Luthor.
I just felt like they put too much into one film. They should have stretched it out a little.
Well, that's why most people like the director's cut better. Because it took longer to tell the story. You gotta remember, earlier this year they released the Snyder Cut. That's the first time they've ever released a 4-hour-long movie.
Oh, yeah.
Before that, nobody would have sat through a 4-hour-long movie.
Here's what bugs me about all the complaints, though. Not just this movie, but a lot of them have been getting it, even TV shows. Oh my god, the picture's so dark. Why is it so dark in the fight scene? Oh my god. Oh my friggin' god. Deal with your television. Use the little button. Do something. You're complaining about the contrast of dark.
Not that, but why was it dark? Because it's a dark story.
Yeah.
It's Batman.
Big babies. Complain about nothing. But I didn't consider it underrated or overrated.
I considered it very underrated because everybody trashed it, saying it was horrible. I thought it was fantastic. I was really happy with it.
I was happy. I just...
Well, yeah, was it the perfect movie? No. But I will say this, better than pretty much every Marvel movie that has come out in the last 10, 20 years.
Oh yeah, we definitely do not agree there.
Okay, really? What Marvel movies were better than this?
Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, you shut up.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you shut up.
The Avengers Infinity War. Avengers Endgame.
The Avengers ones I'll give you, but the Doctor Strange and Ragnarok, they were okay. They were mostly just a bunch of CGI, no story.
A Rodney Dangerfield classic. Ladybugs. Underrated as hell.
First of all, I never thought I would hear the words Rodney Dangerfield and classic, but okay.
Hey, he had plenty. 2.
But I will say Ladybugs was a good movie. A lot of people trashed it, saying that, you know, it was too juvenile, but then again, it was a kid's movie.
Sort of. It was a Rodney Dangerfield kid movie. And any movie that features Rodney Dangerfield, you know, innocently, I guess you can call it, dressing a boy like a girl to play soccer, and then telling a bartender, I took her son, dressed him up like a girl, talked him into playing with me.
Okay, but even that was a scene that was done to make it sound very wrong, but it wasn't as bad as it sounded. He needed to get his soccer team winning so he could get a promotion at work, because it was a company soccer team, Pee-wee soccer team.
All-girl team.
Yeah, all girls who were not good athletes, these girls. So he went and got...
Easy. You're not allowed to say that.
No. I'm not saying girls aren't good players, but this team was not filled with good players. They were bad players, so he went and got a star boy soccer player who also happened to be the son of the woman he's dating to dress up like a girl and be...
This movie gets so bashed.
Oh, they couldn't have made this nowadays. They could not have done it. And the boy ends up teaching the girls how to actually be good and play as a team. And it was a feel-good movie, I'll say. Yeah, I agree with you. Underrated.
Rest in peace, Jonathan Brandis.
So, these first 4, we've pretty much agreed on. But I'm about to give one that I know for a fact you're not going to agree with me. And I don't care.
Well, you just know everything, don't you?
I know enough to know this one. In my opinion, one of the most underrated sci-fi movies ever was Battlefield Earth. What
the? That movie sucked.
No, it didn't. It was great. It had Barry Pepper.
It destroyed Barry Pepper.
The movie was fantastic.
Put salt on his pepper.
But no, the movie was fantastic. What was wrong with it? Great story, great effects, great action sequences. What?
Bad Travolta.
He wasn't bad in it. He was great in it.
I'm sorry, but
like most people would have taken that alien that he played and tried to play him like a monstrous beast. He played him like a snob. That was freaking brilliant.
I was bored the whole time.
How were you bored? Again, by the great story, great action, and great effects?
The plot was great, but the way they delivered it just felt very...
No. It was one of those movies that was bashed and never got a chance because critics never give a good review that somebody that didn't bribe them.
This was one of the few times I agreed with the critics.
No, this movie was really, really good. It was original, and it was done very, very well.
The only thing that should be well done is steak.
That shows how little you know.
Okay, here's something I know. You're not going to agree with me on this one. Very, very overrated. Rent. That movie sucked. And you used to sing it all the time.
I still sing it all the time. I love that movie, Rent. It makes me wish that I could go to New York and watch the live action play of Rent.
190 minutes of my life wasted.
190 minutes of your life well spent. Rosario Dawson. Now let it out. You know you want Rosario Dawson.
Hold on. But I'm still mad. I pirated that movie and I still want my money back.
No.
I'm kidding. I didn't pirate it. Don't pirate.
No, Rent was a very good movie. It was done very well. The
It was awful.
grabbing some of the cast from the play with some mainstream actors, it was really good.
Ugh.
Again, what was wrong with it? The great dramatic story, the great storytelling, the catchy music that gets stuck in your head.
Everyone has AIDS. AIDS. All right, that was from a good movie.
Well, it wasn't from Rent, but still. It has songs that get stuck in your head for 525,600 minutes.
Those were songs that got stuck in my head and made me suicidal.
Well, dude, you're just being depressed because we were living in America at the end of the millennium.
Was that a play on something?
Hey, you know what? Fine, you can have it. Today for you, tomorrow for me.
What does that mean? I don't even remember enough of the movie that was from the movie. Don't do this to me.
I'm just saying, we need to get going because I'm going to have to go to work later because how am I going to pay last year's rent?
I hate you.
We better wrap this up because I need to go, woo, tonight.
Oh, God. Sounds worse than Penny.
That is kind of funny, though. We start this with a crappy musical and end it with a great musical. So there you have it. The Greatest Showman, overrated. Small Wonder, underrated. Batman vs. Superman, underrated. Ladybugs, underrated. Battlefield Earth, underrated. And Rent was not overrated. Hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you did, make sure to hit like, subscribe, hit that little bell so you get notifications for when we post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell us if you agree with our assessments, tell us if you disagree with our assessments, tell us some movies that you thought were either overrated or underrated. Tell us if you get irritated by Josh mimicking me by his hand usage. Love you guys.